The Grand Galactic Council Chamber was one of the most secure and heavily protected buildings in the entire galaxy. Its walls were made of silver-black metal mined from collapsed stars. Its ceiling stretched so high that even tall species had to bend their necks to see it. Giant golden pillars rose on both sides, each covered with ancient symbols representing thousands of civilizations. On this day, the chamber felt different. It felt tense, silent, heavy, because today, the council had called one species to stand alone in the center of the arena. Humans, Ambassador Captain Arlen Hayes, stood at the center of the circular platform. 3 other humans stood a few steps behind him, all wearing clean formal uniforms. But their faces were calm, too calm for the situation. Hayes kept his hands behind his back, his posture straight and relaxed. His eyes slowly scanned the room. Thousands of alien leaders filled the seats above him, watching like curious predators studying their prey. Whispers echoed across the chamber. Humans are hiding something. They act too calm for a weak species. We must find out the truth. For months, rumors have been spreading across the galaxy. Strange human behavior, secret military training, sudden refusals to share information. Other species claim humans were evolving too quickly, learning too fast, becoming something dangerous. The council speaker, a tall crystalline being whose body shimmered like liquid diamonds, finally stepped forward. Each footstep rang through the hall like a crystal bell. Captain Arlen Hayes of Earth, the speaker began, voice deep and cold. The council demands answers. There are reports that humans have changed. There are signs of aggressiveness. Hayes didn't blink. His voice was steady. We have nothing to hide. But something in his tone made the council uneasy. It was too confident, too controlled. Humans were known to shake, sweat, show fear. Hayes showed nothing. The speaker leaned closer. Then tell us, human, what are you becoming? Before Hayes could respond, the chamber shook. A soft vibration first, then a strong tremor. Every alien head turned. A long, low alarm sounded from the walls. Red lights began to flash around the dome. The speaker froze. This is not part of the hearing. Hayes slowly lifted his eyes, staring at the massive golden doors behind the council. Heavy footsteps echoed on the other side. Slow, steady, powerful. The guards near the door raised their weapons. A soft whisper spread through the chamber. No, those footsteps, it can't be them. The ground shook again. Hayes's expression changed for a split second. His eyes narrowed. His breathing slowed. The other humans behind him shifted their stance. Feet apart, shoulders loose, like trained hunters preparing to strike. But the council didn't understand that. Not yet. The giant doors exploded inward with a blast of blue fire. Metal fragments flew across the hall. Several guards were thrown to the floor. Out of the smoke stepped armored figures with dark metallic skin and glowing red eyes. The feared war faction, the Krail Dominion. Gasps filled the chamber. They broke into the council building. This is impossible. No one can breach this place. The Krail soldiers marched in formation, weapons pointed directly at the center of the chamber, directly at the humans. Their leader, a massive figure with 4 glowing tusks, stepped forward. His deep, echoing voice shook the hall. We finally found you, predators. The entire council froze. Predators? Humans? That made no sense. Humans were considered one of the weakest species. Fragile, soft-skinned, slow to heal. And yet, the Krail leader looked afraid. Not angry, not proud, afraid. Hayes didn't move. He stood perfectly still, watching the invaders with calm, sharp eyes. One council member shouted, "Security! Defend the chamber." But before the guards could act, Hayes raised one hand. Just a small gesture, and the human team behind him instantly understood. Their eyes sharpened, their muscles tightened, their breathing became slow and controlled. Something in them changed. The speaker noticed it. Why are the humans not panicking? Another alien whispered, voice trembling. Why do they look ready? The Krail leader growled, pointing his weapon at Hayes. You can stop pretending now. Show them your true nature. Hayes finally moved his head just slightly, His calm eyes turned cold, focused, a predator's eyes. He spoke with a quiet, almost gentle voice. "You shouldn't have come here." Several council members felt a chill down their spines. What was happening? Why did Hayes suddenly feel dangerous? The Krail soldiers opened fire. Bright blue energy blasts filled the air, but the humans didn't freeze. They didn't scream. They didn't hesitate. They moved, not like prey, not like diplomats, but like creatures built for survival. They ducked at the exact right moment, as if they knew where each blast would land. They stepped sideways with perfect timing. They lowered their bodies into a balanced stance, their eyes cold and calculating. Aliens in the audience gasped. What kind of movement is that? No prey species moves like this. Hayes grabbed a fallen guard shield and deflected 2 shots with one fast motion. His team spread out behind him, taking control positions. The speaker, terrified, whispered, This cannot be normal." The Krail leader yelled, "Enough games! Show the council what you really are." Hayes looked directly at him, and in that moment, the entire council saw it. His expression shifted into something ancient, something raw, something that lived deep inside humans for thousands of years. Predator mode. Hayes' voice turned low, almost primal. "You want them to see? Fine, let them see." And as he stepped forward, every alien in the chamber felt the same thing. Not fear of the invaders, fear of humans. The chamber was filled with chaos. Energy blasts flashed across the air, leaving bright blue trails behind them. The sound echoed painfully against the high metal walls. Smoke drifted through the hall, and the smell of burning stone and scorched metal mixed with rising fear. But in the center of all this, something strange happened. The humans did not panic. They didn't scream. They didn't call for help. They didn't look confused or afraid. Instead, they moved with perfect clarity. Captain Arlen Hayes' eyes tracked every enemy like a hawk watching prey in an open field. His team, Lieutenant Mara, Specialist Rook, and Officer Jalen, followed his movements with complete trust. No spoken orders were needed. No hand signals. Only instinct. They had done this before. They were built for this. The council members watched with wide eyes as Hayes stepped into the fight. His movements were not wild or rushed. They were calm, precise, and almost too smooth to be natural. A Krail soldier fired at him from the left. Hayes was already moving before the shot left the barrel. He twisted his body just enough for the blast to fly past him. Then he grabbed the soldier's arm, twisted it, and used the alien's own momentum to throw him to the ground. It happened in less than a second. The entire council gasped. One alien delegate whispered, trembling, "How? How did a human predict the attack before it even happened?" Another delegate, a small insect-like creature, whispered back, "That was not prediction. That was instinct." Mara, the female human soldier, leaped forward to cover Hayes' side. She slid across the floor, grabbed a fallen guard stun baton, and struck a Krail soldier across the chest. The alien collapsed, electricity dancing across his armor. Rook and Jalen formed a defensive line behind Hayes. Their bodies were positioned at angles that allowed them to cover all 3 directions. Even the speaker, who had seen battles for hundreds of years, had never witnessed teamwork this synchronized. One council member shouted over the noise, "Guards, help the humans!" But the guards couldn't get close. The fight was too fast, too intense. The humans and Krail soldiers were moving with a speed and aggression that normal soldiers could not match. On the high balcony, the council leaders watched helplessly. The speaker whispered, "This is not normal human behavior. Something is different about them." A reptilian general agreed. They move like predators. The word hit the air like a shockwave. Predators. No one had ever used that word for humans before. Humans were known as explorers, traders, diplomats. Curious, emotional, adaptable. Yes. But dangerous? Deadly? No. That was impossible. Yet the council could not deny what they were seeing with their own eyes. Hayes ducked as a Krail soldier charged at him with a blade. The human grabbed the alien's wrist, pulled him forward, and knocked him unconscious with sharp elbow strike. Then he turned his head slightly. His eyes scanned the room again, cold, sharp, calculating. It was the look of a creature trained by nature to survive anything. It was the look of a predator. The speaker felt an uneasy chill crawl down his glass-like spine. This is not the humanity we know. Another council member responded. Or perhaps this is humanity's true form, the form they never showed us. Meanwhile, the Krail leader roared, frustrated. You cannot hide it anymore, humans. The council sees you now. Hayes didn't reply with words. He replied with action. He moved forward so fast that the air seemed to ripple behind him. He dodged 3 blasts, grabbed a fallen shield, and blocked a 4th blast before it reached Jalen. Jalen nodded. Thank you, Captain. Hayes didn't answer. His eyes remained locked on the enemy. He was no longer acting like a diplomat. He was acting like something far more dangerous, a pack leader. The Krail leader tried to fire at Hayes again, but Mara appeared beside him, throwing her stun baton at the alien's hand. The shot went wide. The council members were stunned. One elder alien whispered, "This is not training. This is instinct." Another replied, "I thought humans came from a peaceful world." "No," a third alien said softly. "Their world is peaceful now, but what was it like thousands of years ago?" More blasts shook the chamber. Rook grabbed a piece of broken metal from the floor and used it as a shield. Jalen tackled a Krail soldier, locking him down with surprisingly effective hold. Even unarmed, humans fought brutally and efficiently. The council speaker stepped closer to the railing. Humans are not acting out of fear. The speaker's voice trembled. They are acting out of control. In the center of the battlefield, Hayes took down another attacker, then finally spoke, but not to his team. He spoke to the council. "Do you want to know the truth now?" he said, breathing evenly despite the chaos. "This is what humans become when you force them into a corner. We don't run. We don't freeze." He paused, eyes glowing with focus. "We adapt. We survive. We fight." A Krail soldier tried to shoot him from behind. Hayes didn't even turn around. He simply said, "Mara." Mara instantly spun and fired a guard's weapon, hitting the attacker. Perfect coordination. Perfect trust. The crowd of alien leaders was speechless. The speaker finally understood. "This is not evolution," he whispered. "This is their nature." The Krail leader growled from across the room. "Yes, now you see it. The humans are not prey." His voice echoed like thunder. "They are predators hiding in plain sight." A cold silence filled the air, despite the battle raging below, because now the council understood the terrible truth. Humans had never been weak. They had simply been holding back. The battle continued across the Grand Galactic Chamber, but something strange was happening. The aliens watching from the high seats no longer looked terrified of the Krail invaders. They were terrified of the humans. Every movement from Hayes and his team looked too sharp, too accurate, too natural. It was as if the humans were not just reacting. They were reading the battlefield like a book. Even the Krail soldiers were growing nervous. Their leader snarled at his troops. "Stop holding back. They are only humans." But his voice lacked confidence. He had seen humans fight before. He knew what they became when cornered. The council members whispered urgently among themselves. Why do they fight like this? No prey species fights with such precision. This is something ancient. The speaker finally shouted over the chaos. "Captain Hayes!" "Enough. We demand an explanation." Hayes paused for a moment, stepping back from the fight. Rook and Jalen covered him, guarding his sides like wolves defending their alpha. Mara stood above them on a broken pillar, aiming a captured weapon at the Krail squad. Hayes turned slowly toward the speaker. His chest rose and fell steadily. His voice was calm, but his eyes held an old, deep fire. "You want to understand?" he said. "Then listen." Even the Krail soldiers hesitated. Even they wanted to hear this. Hayes took one step toward the council, then another. His boots echoed through the chamber, each step measured and controlled. "Humans did not become like this by choice," he began. "We did not wake up one day and decide to fight like predators." He pointed upward. toward the holographic ceiling that displayed a map of the galaxy. We come from a world of chaos, a world that shaped us through pain, fear, and survival. The council stared in silence. Hayes continued, his voice steady. You look at humans now and see explorers, diplomats, scientists. But that is the newest version of us, the polished version. He stepped onto a raised platform, letting his voice reach every corner of the chamber. For most of our history, Earth was a nightmare. He lifted his hand and projected a small hologram of Earth's ancient landscapes, dense forests, icy wastes, deserts filled with predators. We were hunted every day by creatures faster than us, stronger than us, with claws, fangs, venom, and speed that should have wiped us out. The hologram shifted, showing massive beasts chasing early humans. Council members gasped softly. Hayes spoke again, slower this time. But we survived, not because we were stronger, not because we had better bodies. He tapped his temple. We survived because of this. Mara added from above, our minds became our claws. Rook grinned. Our teamwork became our pack. Jalen nodded, and our instinct to learn became our most powerful weapon. Hayes turned his gaze back to Council. We learned to track prey, to read footprints, to follow blood trails, to watch the movement of wind and grass, to predict danger before it came. The speaker whispered, almost himself, you evolved to hunt. Hayes nodded, to hunt things bigger than us, faster than us, stronger than us. He walked slowly toward the Krail leader, who flinched despite being twice Hayes' size. And when we were hunted, we adapted. We learned to strike back. Harder, smarter. The Krail leader snarled, trying to hide his fear. Do not lie to them. Human, tell them what you truly are. Hayes looked at him with cold calmness. We are not monsters, Hayes said. We are survivors. He turned to the council again. You think our calmness today is strange. You think our speed and precision are unnatural. His voice dropped lower, carrying a heavy truth. But this is who we have always been. The speaker shook his head slowly. But humans do not show this in diplomacy. Why hide it? Hayes smiled, but it was not a warm smile. It was sharp, like a predator showing teeth. Because the galaxy fears predators, he said quietly. If we had shown our true nature from the beginning, you would have never trusted us. You would have seen us as a threat. Silence fell over the chamber. Hayes' voice hardened. We tried to live in peace. We tried to show our gentle side, our creative side, our hopeful side. Mara nodded. We wanted friends, not enemies. Rook added. We wanted a galaxy that didn't see us as dangerous. Jalen finished. So we hid the part of us that was born in fire. Hayes gestured at the battlefield around them. But the Krail did not forget. They fought us on colonies, on moons, in secret battlefields across space. They learned our truth the hard way. He turned to the Krail leader. You attacked us enough times to see what humans become when pushed. The Krail leader spat in anger. You humans pretend to be weak, to trick your allies, to hide your power. Hayes stepped close enough that their faces were inches apart. We pretend to be peaceful, he said softly, because we prefer peace. Then his voice grew colder. But when someone threatens us, or the people we protect, we become what the universe made us. He stepped back, addressing the whole chamber. We become predators. Gasps spread through the alien leaders, some in fear, some in awe, some in understanding. Hayes lifted his chin. And now you finally see what we really are. Not weak, not harmless, not prey. His voice echoed through the chamber like ancient thunder. We are the descendants of hunters. We are the survivors of a world that tried to kill us every day. We are the species that rose from claws, blood, and danger. His eyes locked onto the council's. We hide our fangs until the moment we need them. A chilling silence followed. Even the Krail soldier stepped back, unsure whether to fight or flee. The speaker could barely speak. This changes everything. Hayes' next words were simple. Good, because now you understand us. And behind him, his team stood tall, calm, ready, unshaken. Predators defending their allies. The moment Commander Riven stepped out of medical bay, The entire human ship felt unusually quiet. The hallways were still lit with their cold white lights, but something beneath the surface had changed. He could feel it. The air was heavier, as if the shadows themselves were watching. Riven walked quickly toward the command deck. His boots echoed on the metal floor, each step reminding him that time was running out. The message from the alien prisoner, Kortal, was still stuck in his mind. Your enemy is not who you think. Those 6 words were enough to unsettle even a veteran like Riven. When he reached the command deck, Captain Elise was already waiting for him. Her arms were crossed, her eyes sharp and tense. She didn't waste time. "Report," she said. "Kortal claims the Dominion is not the real threat," Riven replied. "He says there's something else controlling them. Something older." Elise's jaw tightened. "Do you believe him?" Riven hesitated. "I don't know," but he was terrified. Terrified aliens were never a good sign. Before Elise could respond, the ship's AI spoke through the speakers with a calm but urgent tone. "Warning. Unknown energy signature detected in deep space ahead." Everyone turned toward the main screen. At first, it looked like empty darkness. Then, slowly, a faint red glow emerged, pulsing like a heartbeat. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't a star. It looked alive. A whisper spread across the crew. "What is that?" Elise pointed sharply. "Magnify." The screen zoomed in, and everyone in the room froze. The red glow was coming from a colossal structure drifting through space. Dark metallic plates covered its surface, but pieces of it were broken, revealing something organic underneath. It looked like a massive machine fused with flesh and bone. A terrifying hybrid of technology and biology. Riven exhaled slowly. "That's not Dominion tech." "No," Elise said. "This is something else." The AI continued analyzing. "Structure is not emitting normal signals. It appears to be dormant." "Dormant," Riven repeated. "Or waiting." The room grew colder. Elise turned to her officers. "Prepare a recon team. I want a closer look." Riven felt a familiar weight settle on his shoulders, a mix of duty and dread. He knew he had to join the recon team. Whatever that thing was, it was tied to the prisoner's warning. Minutes later, Riven stood in the hangar with 4 other soldiers. Their armor was sealed, helmets on, weapons charged. The shuttle behind them hummed softly as it powered up. Before boarding, Elise approached Riven privately. "Listen to me," she said. "If you see anything that suggests this threat is bigger than we imagine, you return immediately. Don't try to be a hero." Riven gave a small smile. "When have I ever done that?" Elise didn't smile back. "Riven, I'm serious." "I know," he said. "I'll be careful." As the shuttle left the hangar and moved toward the massive red structure, the crew watched from the ship, silent and tense. Inside the shuttle, the team stayed focused. No one spoke. They simply stared out the viewport at the impossible thing waiting in the void. The closer they got, the more intimidating it became. The surface was cracked and torn, as if it fought a war long before humanity discovered space travel. Strange symbols were etched across its hull, symbols that glowed faintly like veins of living blood. Riven felt his heart beating harder. "Pilot, bring us closer." Slowly. As they approached, something unexpected happened. The symbols on the creature machine began to glow brighter, reacting to their presence. One soldier whispered, "It knows we're here." Suddenly, the shuttle shuddered violently. "Energy spike!" the pilot shouted. "It's activating." "Pull back," Riven ordered, but it was too late. A massive pulse of red energy shot out from the structure, hitting the shuttle like a giant's hand. Their systems flickered, alarms blared, and the lights dimmed. "We're losing power. Stabilize the ship." "I'm trying." The shuttle spun uncontrollably for several seconds before the pilot regained partial control. They drifted away from the structure, engines struggling to restart. Riven unbuckled himself and staggered to the pilot's seat. "Status. Engines fried. We can still steer, but we can't return at full speed." Riven activated the comms. "Command, do you read? We've made contact with the anomaly. It's responding to us." We need extraction. Static answered him. Not a single voice came through. Commander, one soldier said quietly. Look outside. Riven turned, and his stomach dropped. The human ship in the distance, their home, their defense, their only hope, was surrounded by dozens of smaller vessels. Not Dominion ships. Something else. Sleek, dark, insect-like designs with long, sharp limbs. The hybrid creatures had awakened. Riven clenched his fists. Everyone stay sharp. We're not out of this yet. The pilot swallowed hard. Commander, what do we do now? Riven looked at the colossal structure, then at the enemy ships swarming their own. There was only one path forward. We're going to find a way inside that thing, he said. Whatever controls the Dominion, whatever Cortal warned us about, it's in there. And if it wakes up fully, another soldier asked. Riven stared into the red glow of the ancient machine. Then humanity won't stand a chance. The team tightened their grips on their weapons. Fear filled their eyes, but so did determination. They had no rescue, no backup, and no guarantee they would survive. But they moved forward anyway. Because sometimes facing the unknown was the only way to save everything they loved. And as their damaged shuttle drifted toward a hidden entrance in the ancient structure, one thing became painfully clear. This was not a war between species. It was a war against something far older, something that had been waiting for humanity to arrive. The shuttle drifted slowly toward the giant wound in the ancient machine's hull. The opening looked like a dark mouth, waiting to swallow them whole. Broken metal plates curved inward, and behind them was only blackness, an endless tunnel with no visible end. Commander Riven stood at the front of the shuttle, helmet on, watching the darkness. The glow from the structure pulsed slowly, as if breathing. Every pulse sent a faint vibration through their damaged shuttle. Pilot, Riven said, take us in. The pilot hesitated for only a moment before nodding, entering the structure carefully. As they crossed the threshold, the shuttle's lights flickered. The atmosphere shifted. The air seemed heavier, colder, almost aware. A strange silence filled the inside of the massive vessel, an unnatural silence that made even their breathing sound too loud. One soldier whispered, "It feels like something is watching us." Riven didn't answer. He felt it too. The interior of the machine was beyond anything humanity had ever seen. The walls were a disturbing mix of metal and living tissue. Mechanical veins pulsed with dim red light. Strange cables twisted like frozen serpents. Every few meters, they passed what looked like dormant pods, huge, cocoon-shaped structures covered in thick, dark crust. Scan the area, Riven ordered. A soldier activated a handheld scanner. The device beeped weakly, its screen flickering. Commander, the readings don't make sense. This thing is made of both technology and organic matter. It's alive. Riven stared ahead. Keep moving. The shuttle hovered deeper until the tunnel opened into a massive inner chamber. It was a cathedral of alien engineering. Tall pillars made of bone-like metal. Strange symbols glowing faintly, and a hovering red sphere at the center of the room. The sphere pulsed like a beating heart. There, Riven said quietly. That must be the core. As the shuttle landed on a flat platform, the crew disembarked cautiously. Their boots touched the surface, and the ground felt disturbingly warm. Suddenly, the sphere brightened. "Commander," a soldier whispered, "I think it's waking up." The glowing orb grew brighter, sending waves of light through the chamber. The walls responded by lighting up with red veins. Organic cables twitched. Dust fell from above. The entire structure seemed to stretch, like something sleeping was slowly beginning to move. Riven raised his rifle. Defensive positions. The team formed a circle, weapons aimed outward. Then a voice, distorted, layered, ancient, echoed inside their helmets. "Intruders, you are not of the Dominion." The soldiers froze. Riven stepped forward. "Identify yourself." The sphere pulsed, and the voice returned. "We are the architects. The Dominion is our creation. You stand inside one of our vessels." Riven's breath caught. "You created them? Why?" "They were designed to cleanse a galaxy." One soldier swallowed hard. "Cleanse? Cleanse what?" Civilizations that cannot be controlled. Ryven felt a cold shiver run down his spine. Including humanity? The sphere's glow intensified dangerously. Your species grows too fast. Too unpredictable. You were marked for elimination long ago. The soldiers took a step back, fear gripping their hearts. So the Dominion didn't attack us first, Ryven murmured. They were following a command. Incorrect, the voice replied. The Dominion rebelled. They sought freedom. They failed. Ryven's eyes widened. They rebelled? Against you? They attempted to break their programming. We are here to restore them. One soldier whispered. Restore or exterminate? Both. The chamber shook violently. Red energy surged through the walls, activating machines that had slept for centuries. Pods cracked open, revealing twisted biomechanical creatures inside, drones with multiple limbs and glowing eyes. Ryven raised his rifle. Fall back. Now! The drones screeched as they woke fully. Their movements were stiff but fast, faster than anything human. Gunfire echoed through the chamber as the team fought desperately. Sparks and blood-like fluid sprayed across the walls. We can't hold them, a soldier shouted. Ryven fired a burst, destroying a drone, then shouted, Find a way out. Retreat. The soldiers ran toward the tunnel, but the doorway began closing, massive mechanical teeth sliding downward. Hurry! Ryven yelled. They sprinted, sliding under the closing door just in time. The corridor behind them shut with a thunderous crash. Breathing hard, the team ran deeper into the structure. The walls pulsed angrily now, light shifting from red to a harsh white. The whole ship is waking up, a soldier gasped. Ryven tapped his helmet. Command, do you copy? Elise respond. Only static. We're trapped, the pilot said, voice shaking. No, Ryven said firmly. We're still alive. That means we still have options. As they reached another wide hall, the team stopped. In the middle of the room stood a tall figure, almost 3 meters high. Its body was metallic, but shaped like a humanoid skeleton. Its head was elongated, with 6 glowing eyes arranged in a circle. The team aimed their weapons instantly. The figure didn't move. Instead, it spoke in the same layered voice as the sphere. You cannot escape. Humanity cannot escape. Ryven stepped forward, refusing to show fear. Why? Why target us? The figure tilted its head slightly. Because you are the one species we cannot predict. You are chaos. You are evolution without restraint. And chaos must be erased. Ryven's jaw tightened. We won't let you. The figure raised one long metallic hand. Energy crackled around it. Then you will die first. Before it could attack, a sudden explosion rocked the chamber from above. Debris rained down. The figure turned its head sharply. Ryven seized a moment. Move. Go. The team ran through a side corridor as the figure's blast missed them by inches, melting the wall. As they fled, Ryven knew one terrifying truth. This was no longer just a war. This was a planned extinction, and humanity had stumbled into it too late. The corridor shook as the team sprinted through it. Dust fell from the ceiling, and sharp cracks echoed behind them as the ancient figure fired another blast. The walls glowed dangerously, pulsing like the heartbeat of something enormous and angry. Commander Ryven didn't look back. He could hear the metallic steps of the creature coming closer, slow, steady, and unstoppable. We need a way out, a soldier shouted, breathing hard. We'll find one, Ryven said, though he wasn't fully sure. The corridor led them into another large chamber, but this one looked different, cold, abandoned, dead. Strange metal vines hung from the ceiling. Broken machines lay scattered across the floor. In the center of the room stood what looked like a tall pillar, cracked open down the middle. The pilot stepped forward, scanning it. Commander, this might be a control pillar. Old, damaged, but still connected to the ship. Ryven approached it, holding his breath. The surface of the pillar lit up faintly when he touched it. Strange symbols scrolled across the cracked screen. A soldier asked quietly, Sir, can we shut this whole thing down? Ryven stared at the dim lights flickering in the pillar. Maybe, but we don't have hours. We have minutes, maybe less. Behind them, distant metal footsteps echoed down the corridor. They were being hunted. Riven turned to the team. Cover me. I'm going to try to access its internal systems. The soldiers formed a defensive circle, rifles aimed at every possible entrance. Riven began working, touching symbols and hoping they responded. The pillar flickered weakly, showing fragments of ancient data, maps, warnings, and something like a countdown. Commander, the pilot said urgently, this whole ship is powering up. If it fully wakes, it'll send a signal to every Dominion fleet in range. Riven's blood went cold. How much time? Minutes, maybe less. He dug deeper, searching for any weakness. The pillar crackled and showed a strange diagram of the ship's core. Suddenly, a new voice came through the pillar. Cold, emotionless, the same layered tone as a figure chasing them. Stop resisting. You cannot halt our awakening. The pillar flashed red, rejecting Riven's access. He gritted his teeth. You want us gone, but you forget something. There was a pause. Speak. Riven stepped closer to the pillar, voice low and sharp. We're humans. The chamber suddenly vibrated. The air grew colder. Then the ancient voice responded. Yes, a mistake we intend to correct. At that moment, the far wall exploded. Dust and debris flew everywhere as the towering skeletal figure entered. Its eyes blazed with 6 burning lights. Its limbs unfolded like knives ready to strike. The soldiers opened fire instantly. Bullets sparked against its body. The creature staggered but kept advancing. Riven didn't hesitate. He grabbed 2 energy grenades from his belt and hurled them toward the creature. Get down! The grenades detonated, filling the chamber with blinding white light. The shockwave knocked the team off their feet. The creature roared, its voice a distorted metallic scream, as half its body melted. Sparks flew. One of its 6 eyes went dark. But it didn't fall. It stepped forward again, slower now but still alive. Commander! The pilot shouted. We can't kill it. Riven's mind raced. The pillar, the ship, the core. There was only one answer. We aren't killing it, Riven said, pushing himself up. We're shutting down everything. He ran back to the pillar. The damaged screen flashed with warnings. A soldier yelled, Sir, the creature is coming. Riven pressed his palm against the pillar. Symbols shifted. A deep rumbling sound spread across the chamber, like the ship itself was resisting him. The creature raised its arm, preparing another energy strike. Riven whispered, Come on, give me something. Anything. The pillar beeped weakly. A small section of symbols turned blue instead of red. A shutdown sequence. Riven didn't know what each symbol meant. He didn't have time to translate. So he did the one thing humans were terrifyingly good at. He guessed. He pressed the blue sequence. The entire ship screamed, a low, thunderous roar like a dying beast. Lights flickered violently. Red veins across the walls turned black. The creature froze mid-step. Its eyes flickered. Then it spoke with a broken, distorted voice. What have you done? Riven stepped back, breathing hard. I did what humans always do when something threatens us. His voice was steady. Cold. I shut you down. The creature lunged, desperate and furious. The pilot fired a final blast straight into its damaged chest. The energy beam struck the creature as the ship's shutdown reached its peak. The skeletal figure collapsed, its body falling apart like ash blown by wind. The chamber lights went out. Darkness swallowed everything. The team stood silently for a moment, breathing hard. Finally, weak emergency lights flickered on. The ship was dead. Truly dead. Riven slumped against the pillar, exhaustion hitting him like a wave. Is everyone alive? One by one, the team responded. Yes. Bruised but alive. Still here, Commander. Relief washed over them. But then the pilot checked his scanner and froze. Commander, we have a problem. Riven straightened. What now? The pilot turned the screen toward him. Outside the ship, the Dominion fleet was gathering. Hundreds of ships, thousands, even. They weren't attacking. They were simply waiting. Riven frowned. Why are they not firing? A soldier whispered, almost afraid to guess. Maybe without the architects they're free? The idea hung in the air. Riven looked at the dark walls around him. The ancient machine had been forcing the Dominion to cleanse galaxies. Without it, maybe the Dominion didn't want to fight humans at all. The pilot swallowed. So what now? Riven looked toward the exit, where faint light began breaking in. Now, he said softly, we walk out here and face them. Not as prey, not as chaos. He lifted his rifle and placed it on his back. But as humans,